Welcome back to New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know with all things events and entertainment in New Mexico. I'm Teresa Robinson, and on this month's episode, we are covering topics from our June issue, which is our Pride issue. On this month's episode, we have interviews with Marilyn and Elizabeth Barnes of Tri-M Productions, Jeffrey and Bethany Sedden of the Morgue and Krypt Horror Fest, Lauri Francis with Artrageous, comedian Holly Byrd, and Robyn Rikoon of Santa Fe Playhouse. So, let's get started. Recognized as one of the most celebrated musicals created, Kinky Boots reminds everyone we can change the world when we change our minds. Tri-M Productions is bringing the beloved musical to the Santa Fe stage. We're happy to have artistic director Marilyn Barnes and choreographer Elizabeth Barnes to tell us more about it. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the production and where the idea was to put this on stage with Tri-M. So first, I actually want to start by talking about the company first. How did Tri-M begin?
Well, I am an educator for many, many years, and I taught high school choir and music theater at Santa Fe High School. And I have a dear, beautiful colleague, Kathleen Rich, who we all know her because of her connection with the radio. And we just were dismayed at how often we would meet students that had graduated and just had completely stopped performing. We just really wanted to make a venue for young professionals so they would have someplace they could continue that creativity.
Well, I mean, you guys have done some very interesting shows. And of course, I'm excited about your current one, which is Kinky Boots. What was the premise of doing this show for this particular month?
Well, I think we've seen it several times and just absolutely adore the story. I'm a storyteller, and so the idea of a beautiful drag queen and a heterosexual man who didn't even realize he was prejudiced coming together and making this beautiful bond by the end of the show, I just wanted to show that love because of where we're at in the world. I think we just need to keep putting that out as much as we can, sending out the love.
I think Marilyn also wants to pick shows that young people are going to want to be a part of.
Absolutely.
Constantly trying to stay relevant in that way. We want to pick shows that our audiences want to see, but we also want to pick shows that our young people want to be in.
And that's wonderful to hear, because if they enjoy the work, they're going to show it on stage. So when it comes to the casting, Lola is a big personality. So how important was the casting of Lola for this production?
At the top. So important. We just do auditions. We don't try to precast because I don't think that's fair. People change between January and May when we did these auditions. And so when Paul walked into the audition room, I think all of us just kind of went, oh.
We can do this show now.
Right. And then he opened his
I love it.
Right. He opened his mouth and started to sing, and we're like, oh. And then he did his dance audition, and Elizabeth's like, thank goodness. So, the theater gods shone upon us.
And people are really going to want to come and see Paul. He is a star.
And Elizabeth, you are taking on the task. One of the things I loved about Kinky Boots, I saw the movie, which became the Broadway musical. Choreography is a must. It is high tier when it comes to this musical. How did you approach choreography when you started the production?
It's so important. And again, part of that storytelling thread is that the movement has to tell the story, right? So one of the things that I love about the art of drag is that there's so much individuality in it. Everybody brings their own personal sparkle to the table. So I really wanted to kind of use that. And as, some of our performers are going to be doing drag for the first time, some are super experienced, and I want people to kind of feel that sense of like, wow, they want to be here and we want to be there. And I think that's really going to show through in the movement. There's going to be a lot of individuality, but there's also going to be some great moments of unison where you're going to see 21 young people all moving together. And I think it's really powerful. And I'm excited for people to come and experience it.
So when it comes to how you want audiences to leave this production, what do you want them to feel when they walk out of that theater?
I hope just joy and hope. Hope that I think we get bogged down. We start to feel so dismal about the state of our country. And theater and art is there to help buoy us up so we can continue the fight, for acceptance, for generosity. So joy, hope.
And we hope they're still singing the last song as they leave the theater.
I love that song. I love that song. Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining me today and talking more about Kinky Boots. I am looking forward to this production, and I know you guys have worked hard. So thank you for taking the time to talk about it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Morgue and Krypt Horror Fest is the newest convention to hit Albuquerque, bringing some of the best in the history of the horror genre, including stars like Chris Sarandon, Felicia Rose, and Michael Hargrove. Jeffrey and Bethany Sedden join us today to talk about the highly anticipated horror event. Jeff and Bethany, thank you for joining us today to talk more about this amazing event that you're putting on. And I want to start by asking, what inspired you to create it?
Well, we frequent these shows a lot in other states, other areas, and we always have fun doing it. There's a whole community that's built up behind it. We never have anything like that here, so we're like, why not bring it?
We thought it was about time, and he probably got tired of me complaining that we don't have one locally.
So I did hear that this kind of was done. You kind of set everything up and then informed her that it was going to happen.
So, note to the husbands, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Bad idea. That's bad ideas.
She wants snacks.
She wants snacks. She wants flowers. Don't buy her a convention. It's not like that. But that was the case. Very bad decisions.
Well, there are quite a few conventions that happen here in terms of comic pop culture. I mean, what is it about horror that you feel that the audience needed to have here in New Mexico?
Well, honestly, it's just for us because we are a part of that community, and we feel the best community. They're very close-knit, have a lot of fun, and we started meeting several people, holding certain events here and there with horror, and we were just saying, like, how did we not know about this, and how did we not know about this? So we thought another perk to this was one place for everyone to come together. And there's so many that we didn't even realize, so many vendors locally that sell so much of that stuff that we didn't even realize that we're going to, spend a lot of money. So we're going to be so broke.
So what can people expect coming to the event this year?
So it's going to be a full 3 days. It's still going to be 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday at least. We're going to have a bunch of celebrity guests. We're going to have a lot of vendors. We're going to have a lot of our local talent showcase, whether it's, their arts or magic or whatever they can bring to the table. We also have a lot of out-of-state vendors coming in.
We're going to be
zombie
pinup.
pinup. Yeah, we're going to do a zombie pinup pageant. Film screenings from all over the world.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, that's the highlight of it. So that I think of.
A lot of events throughout the weekend. So there's going to be a lot of entertainment. So everyone goes to cons for different reasons. So we tried to cover what people would like. Some go for the shopping. We have a lot of really cool vendors. Some go for the guests. We try to get a really good guest. And then the zombie pinup one, that's just the fun cosplay that we wanted to mix, and they get to win to be the first horror queen, Morgue and Krypt horror queen.
Yep.
Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. So where can people learn more about the event?
They can go to the socials. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. They can also go to the YouTube, which is Morgue and Krypt, abq.com, and that's Krypt with a K. All the information's there. You can get tickets through homemyticket.com, and just hoping to see everybody out there.
Right, sounds good. Well, thanks guys for coming in and telling us about it, and good luck on the event.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We'll be back. Artrageous is a troupe of multi-talented performance artists, singers, dancers, audience motivators, and musicians from New Mexico. Their high-energy performance combines different forms of art on one stage, along with humor, movement, and color. Today we have Lauri Francis to talk about the troupe and their upcoming summer camp. Lauri, thank you for taking time out to talk with us today. So I want to start by asking if you would share about how the organization began and what you do.
Sure. Well, Artrageous is an internationally touring performing arts show, and we combine 8 different arts on one stage. So you're going to see a live rock concert, singing, dancing. And the thing that makes us really unique is that we have live fine arts. So you're going to see giant masterpieces painted in about 6.5 minutes right before your very eyes. All the while, all of this other stuff is happening. So we get to travel the world making art and music, but New Mexico is our home. So we're very happy to say that.
Wonderful. So, I mean, what inspired Artrageous to even come to fruition?
Yeah, so we actually started out as street performers in Vancouver, and we've seen many incarnations of us as performers. We were the most sought after corporate show band called the Pink Flamingos, and a high-end general session art show. And Artrageous is kind of the culmination of everything that we've done in our history of being entertainers.
Wow.
And we just put it all on one stage. So, but honestly, we're really just a troupe of misfit artists that love creating things together. And we have the same passion for the arts and a drive to just share experiences with the world.
We love to hear about collaborations like that. And you are hosting a summer camp this year. Mm-hmm. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so we're partnering with the PNM Resources Foundation for their 40th anniversary celebration. And it's our second year doing this amazing multidisciplinary camp. We're hosting it at the African American Performing Arts Center. And it's a 2-week-long multidisciplinary camp, and it's free for students who are the ages of 10 to 14, and we're accepting 40 kids, and that's June 5 through 16. And the kids are going to learn so many different arts and disciplines, and they're going to put on a show themselves. And then at the end of that camp, Artrageous is going to host a public performance to benefit the APAC.
Wow, that's exciting. So this is our Pride issue, our Pride episode. So what pride do you get being a part of an organization like this?
Oh, so many things, but it is really amazing to see people expand their experiences. So we get to take people on a journey. So from entering a cold theater where they don't know anyone, they don't know what's going to happen, maybe just leaving their day behind, even if it's just singing along to a song or tapping their foot to the beat. But our claim to fame is we always get people involved and on stage with us. So maybe that's their experience. And it's just incredible to offer that to families to share together.
Absolutely. So where can people find out more about this event?
So outrageousshow.com shares our tickets, our tour dates, and our rich history of all of the entertainment we've ever done. And to apply for our camp, you can go to outrageousartreach.org.
Wonderful. Well, Lauri, thank you again for joining us today. And I am looking forward to seeing this camp and all you have to offer.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thanks. We'll be back. Byrd is a stand-up comedian, podcaster, and writer. Her raw and brutal honest take on motherhood and surviving cancer in her comedy has been seen all over the Southwest. Today, she talks about how she got started in the business and her upcoming gigs. Holly, thank you for joining us today to talk more about what's inspired you and what got you into comedy. So that's where we're going to start first.
Okay.
What led you to want to be a comedian?
Well, ever since I was little, I loved stand-up comedy. I used to sneak watch George Carlin with my dad.
Good one.
If anybody would inspire you to be a comedian, it's George Carlin. And then I was just like a weird kid who loved Saturday Night Live and Mad TV, and I went to a Catholic school, and I would reenact them every Monday.
At a Catholic school?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah. It went really well. My mom loved those phone calls. And then I went through a divorce, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to try stand-up comedy, and here we are.
My good. Okay, so one of the things, I mean, every comedian's different. They're going to pull material from where they pull it. I mean, you go for the personal stories. How can you be that vulnerable on stage when it comes to doing stand-up to provide that type of material?
Oh, man. I can't do the other form. I think just my funny spot comes from the same place all my mental illness comes from, which is trauma. So I think that's just who I am as a person. I'm pretty open. But also just life is hilarious. So I think it's the best way to do it.
I mean, I feel like a lot more people can relate to that type of, because they're going to have experiences of those who have been divorced and who have kids. And so I feel that you get a lot of relatability with your sets.
I mean, I hope so. I definitely think there are some times that people are like, what is this girl talking about? But as long as they laugh at me, I'm okay with it. So.
That's the name. Awesome. That's wonderful. So when it comes to you, where can people find out more about you, your comedy, and where to see you?
The best place, honestly, is Instagram, because I am a mom and I'm technologically challenged, so I can't do a website. But you can find me on Instagram, and I mostly have that figured out, and that's at Byrd Comedy.
Wonderful. Well, Holly, thank you for stopping by. I know you got a show, so thank you for taking the time out to talk with us, and we look forward to seeing what you do around town.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be back. Crowned the oldest running theater west of the Mississippi, Santa Fe Playhouse is a nonprofit professional company, a venue with off-Broadway sensibility in historic Santa Fe. The Playhouse performs contemporary classics and new works. We're happy to have artistic director Robyn Rikoon to tell us more about the theater and their upcoming production, Sweat. Robyn, thank you for taking time out to talk with us today. So for those who have no idea who Santa Fe Playhouse is, tell us about the organization, how it got started.
Santa Fe Playhouse was started in 1922 by Mary Hunter Austin. She was in her 20s when she started the organization, and we are over 101 years old. We're located in the heart of downtown Santa Fe. And I am the current artistic director and the first femme artistic director since Mary Austin.
Wow.
We produce challenging, provocative pieces of theater. We focus on uplifting local talent, playwrights, directors, actors, designers, but we also pick stories that we can't always cast locally. Mm-hmm. And then we bring in actors from New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Minneapolis, kind of all over the country. And yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Well, I know your upcoming production, Sweat, is, that's going to be happening soon. So I wanted to know more about the production and what piqued your interest to do this show.
Sure. Yeah. So I pause because there's so much to be said about this play. This was written by Lynn Nottage, kind of between the years, I think it took her a couple of years to write it, but it was part of a commission that Oregon Shakespeare Festival did, where they put out a call and said, write about the American dream. Mm-hmm. And Lynn Nottage, who is an African-American femme playwright, won the Pulitzer for this play. And it takes place in 2008, and then it jumps back to the year 2000. And it takes place in the Rust Belt in Pennsylvania, and it's right after NAFTA has been passed, is like when all this stuff goes down. So you're seeing multi-generations. You're seeing, people who are in their 60s, their 40s, and their 20s, all who are working at a factory in this town. And what happens when the owners of the factory choose capitalism over their employees, and they're replacing their workforce with machines. and they're or with cheaper labor, people who will come in and do the job for less money. And so you see a displacement that happened, right? And it happened all over America during this time. But Lynn Nottage, she said she chose Reading, Pennsylvania, because it was like a microcosm of what was happening in the world on a greater scale, right? So Obama was coming into his presidency when she wrote this piece, and Reading was had just elected its first Black mayor, and you saw a lot of blame being pushed onto these people. But what spoke to me about this piece was primarily the multi-generational aspect. I think it's really important in Santa Fe and in this region to honor the multi-generations that we have here. And of course, theater, it's not just for old people.
Yeah.
And it's not just for young people. And so we're really trying to get a lot of different generations through our doors and expose them to live arts, because I think that's important. I think it's in witnessing that we heal, and that happens through live arts.
Yes.
But also because there's no villain and there's no hero, right? And it's an ensemble piece. There's 9 actors. It's a huge show. It's 2.5 hours, but it is breathtakingly beautiful and heartbreaking.
So we have just a little bit of time left. So I want to ask, it's our Pride issue that we're working on right now. So I want to ask, before you let everybody know where they can find out more about Santa Fe Playhouse and Sweat, what is it that you take pride in being a part of Santa Fe Playhouse in this production, and many more to come?
I take pride in the quality of work that we do and how we do it. So I take pride in the fact that we are a consent-based organization and that we're striving to diversify the stories we put on stage, as well as our staff. I'm really proud of the team that I'm a part of. I think everyone who I work with is they're kick-ass. They're kick-ass humans. They're at the top of their game, and they're doing everything with a really an authentic sense of who they are, and leading with their heart and leading with compassion and kindness. And I'm really proud of that.
Wonderful. Well, Robyn, where can people learn more about the organization and upcoming productions?
www.santafeplayhouse.org.
Well, Robyn, thank you again for joining us today to talk more about Sweat, the organization, and we're just really excited to see what comes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
We'll be back. This is your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. Albuquerque Pride is excited to bring dance, music, and diversity to Pride Fest, including the annual parade and celebration with local and national talent, artists, and activities. The event takes place on June 10th at Balloon Fiesta Park in Albuquerque. Nominated for 3 Grammys, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss performed songs from their latest album, Raise the Roof, at the Taos Summer Music Festival. The event takes place on June 17th at Kit Carson Park in Taos. Make Music Santa Fe will return for its 8th year with a diverse and wonderful mix of free musical activities and performances. Make Music Santa Fe takes place on June 21st at Rail Yard Plaza in Santa Fe. This has been your New Mexico Entertainment in 60. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com. Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of New Mexico Entertainment Television, where you continue to be in the know with all things events and entertainment in New Mexico. Join us next month as we cover topics from our July issue. Have a great night. For more events and entertainment, visit nmentertains.com.